Hello everyone and welcome to my ShadowTavern. Today's episode features 10 great new movies released on streaming platforms. Breathtakingly beautiful sci-fi, a twisty thriller, detective, an emotional drama and more in today's issue. Make yourselves comfortable, warm yourself up with some delicious tea, and have a great time watching. The Whale is finally available on VOD services. It tells the story of a reclusive, morbidly obese man trying to repair his relationship with his teenage daughter. The Whale is not just about an extremely obese man, but about a man with a devastating food addiction caused by grief and regret and a complete lack of self-esteem. It is more grounded and straightforward than most of A24's films and Aronofsky's other work. It relies mostly on pure emotion and struggle, masterfully portrayed by Brendan Fraser. The movie is much deeper than its superficial plot, and therein lies its true strength. There is no obvious hero or villain. Every character is both, to one degree or another. This makes the movie heartbreaking and forces the viewer to watch the characters search for redemption. The script of the movie is believable, tragic and full of intrigue. Brendan Fraser, who has long been a fan favorite, is impressive and earnest in this work. The Whale is a brilliant movie that will make you rethink Brendan's acting. If you're still in doubt as to whether or not you should see this movie, then by all means see it so you don't regret it later, because this is an Oscar contender with a real heart. Pamela, A Love Story, is a documentary portrait of the famous actress and model Pamela Anderson that tells the story of her life and career through her personal notes and diaries. The film covers her rise to fame, her scandalous affairs and the infamous sex tape scandal. The film impresses with Pamela's emotional candor and honesty, allowing the viewer to feel all of her emotions, from joy to sadness. Although most celebrity documentaries seem narcissistic, this portrait of Pamela was surprisingly honest and compelling. Of course, one correction should be made. This is her biographical film and Pamela is presented in the most flattering light. Her willingness to allow the filmmakers full access to her diaries lends credibility to her sometimes traumatic story. In the end, Pamela, A Love Story is not only the portrait of a celebrity, but also the story of a woman of extraordinary courage and strength. 10 Little Mistresses tells the story of 10 women vying for the right to be the legal wife of widowed billionaire Valentin Esposo. But when Valentin dies unexpectedly, all 10 become prime suspects. The movie is Amazon Prime's first Filipino production and it does not disappoint. Although it borrows ideas from Agatha Christie novels, the execution and script are superb, reflecting local culture and discussing themes of female empowerment. Visually, the movie is stunning, with beautiful costumes and lush sets. The cast is diverse, the acting ranges from comedic to dramatic, and the balance between these directions is well maintained. The humor is one of the main features of the movie. It is well balanced and gives the audience a hearty laugh. Nevertheless, there are also elements of mystery and suspense in the movie. Although the pacing is often slowed down by the large number of characters, the movie is still an entertaining comedy with detective elements. True Spirit is a movie based on the true story of Jessica Watson, who decided to become the youngest person to complete a non-stop solo circumnavigation of the globe without assistance. The film emphasizes the spirit of exploration and adventure, but some scenes romanticize the events rather than showing the real turmoil Watson went through. There are obstacles in her path, including a week of being stranded in a nightmarish storm, but they are not always fully conveyed to the audience. In order to show all the heroism of what's going on, and to inspire an adventurous spirit in the audience, the story is presented to us in an almost Disney-like, simplistic style. The movie also cuts to flashbacks of Watson's childhood and life experiences that led to her decision to sail around the world. The cinematography and special effects are quite good. There are many exciting action scenes in the movie that make you feel like you are on board with Jessica. Despite the low budget, the movie is worth watching because of the strong and interesting story. Unlocked is a South Korean sci-fi thriller based on the novel by Akira Teshigawara, and it is the second film adaptation after 2018's Stolen Identity. The plot of the movie begins when the main character, Nami, loses her smartphone which contains all of her personal information and data. As the plot progresses, she realizes that someone is using her personal information to destroy her life. The main idea of the movie is that if you lose control of your phone, you lose control of who you are. The movie has two stories, one about a psychopathic stalker who wants to ruin Nami's life by gaining access to her smartphone, and one about a policeman investigating a serial killer he suspects may be his runaway son. The plot twists keep us on the edge of our seats throughout the movie, accompanied by good performances from the actors. Unlocked is an intriguing thriller with an interesting plot that shows how much our daily lives are connected to our mobile phones, and how careful we need to be with our personal information. Sharper. Once at the bottom, people always want to get rich, and when a society of billionaires comes along, every adventurer understands that the only way to profit from his position among the elite is to steal from everyone around him. Sharper is a comedy thriller from director Benjamin Caron that shows how naive and weak the wealthiest people in society are. The film is the first feature-length work by Caron, who has worked on episodes of Andor, The Crown, and more. Although the movie has a talented cast and an amusing plot with a series of betrayals and twists, it doesn't fully master the puzzle movie genre and doesn't involve the characters as deeply as one would like, and there is not enough real danger for a successful thriller. Nevertheless, Sharper is a decent entertainment for fans of thrillers and fans of the cast, even if it is not able to really shock. You can watch the movie without thinking about it and just enjoy the succession of twists and turns. A good choice for those looking for a light and entertaining spectacle. The Post-Truth World tells the story of former news anchor Liu Lai Min, who is held hostage by fugitive prisoner Chang Chengyi, who claims his innocence in the murder of his wife. Chang decides to use the prisoner's media resources to get to the truth, but as they investigate, they begin to uncover dark secrets, including Liu's personal life. The post-truth concept developed in the movie is relevant and interesting. The acting and atmosphere are great. The movie does not have the usual ending, which makes it unique in Asian cinematography. Post-Truth World surprises with both its production and script. Incredible shots and a great choice of music make this movie even more heartfelt. It's easy to see the inspiration of Korean productions. Post-Truth World is a tragic and unpredictable story that will not leave you indifferent. The struggle for truth does not always lead to victory, but that does not stop us from continuing to search for it. Infinity Pool is a sci-fi horror film directed and written by Brandon Cronenberg. A wealthy young couple meet a stranger on a luxurious beach and travel outside the resort where they encounter a culture of shocking violence and hedonism. They are seduced into participating in the deadly decadence of island life, leading to a tragic accident and unimaginable choices with terrible consequences. Mia Goth does an excellent job as the seductress who pushes Skarsgård's character to do things he never thought possible, and Skarsgård's character just does inappropriate illogical things. However, while many appreciated Brandon Cronenberg's direction, I found some of the strange angles and techniques annoying and in a bad way dizzy. The movie contains a lot of sex, violence, and brutality, which seems like an attempt to live up to his father's title as the king of body horror, but it doesn't add anything to the convoluted plot. Cronenberg may always have great ideas, but the implementation of characters and plot is a challenge. If you like experimental and violent movies, Infinity Pool is worth a look. Blaze tells the story of a young teenage girl who encounters a traumatic situation that she cannot fully understand, and how she tries to relive the event. The director uses surreal scenes to show her ability to cope and escape into an otherworldly fantasy space. Although the lead actress Julia Savage does a good job in the main role, the center element of the film is not always seen in the same way. There is some dissonance between the style of the supernatural, candy-colored visions and the emotional minefield through which the main characters of the film move. The movie does a good job of showing the process of overcoming trauma, and has a lot of potential in itself. Had these scenes been handled a little better, this movie could have been one of the best of the year. Nevertheless, if you like emotional pictures and don't mind catchy and often melodramatic songs in the soundtrack, then you might like this movie. Youngya is a South Korean science fiction movie set in the future, when climate change makes the Earth less suitable for life. Humanity flees to 80 orbital sanctuaries, but 3 of them declare their independence and attack the rest on Earth. During this war, Captain Youngya becomes a legend, but injuries sustained in battle lead to her coma. Years later, her daughter becomes the lead researcher on a team that uses her mother's downloaded consciousness to create a combat AI. Youngya is not just an action movie with a huge amount of robots. It is a drama about a dystopian future where technology is used unethically to serve the purposes of large corporations and military complexes. The movie does a great job of showing what the future would look like if the development of technology takes us away from our humanity. The action scenes are well done and not too confusing, like in most Asian sci-fi movies where it is difficult to understand what is going on. Youngya has high production values and excellent cinematography. The visuals are top-notch, that's why the movie is worth watching. But the action flick also has fat minuses, such as constant and annoying attempts at humor and a confusing script. Conceptually, the story is decent, but it has too much style and very little substance. Don't forget that the emphasis was on the visuals and effects. Youngya is probably a must-see for anyone who loves the cyberpunk genre and wants to see some depth and emotional connection in a sci-fi movie. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Feel free to share this video with your friends, subscribe to the channel and click the buttons below the player. And see you in the next issue. Bye.